When you finish this first assignment and turned it in, while you're waiting for the rest of your classmates to catch up with you, I'm going to have you do a second version of this. Very simply, we're going to take this bottom layer and click and drag it up into the next layer so that it's between the first and second layer. Notice how that little white line appears between the layers? That's how you know where it's going. Just going to let go here. This is going to appear to have disappeared because there still needs to be things taken from the layer mask here. So I'm going to click on the layer mask here, and before I get too far into this, I'm going to do File, Save As, and all I'm going to do on the end is put V2. That stands for version 2. Please make sure that your name goes in here instead of a student, your first initial last name, and then save it on your desktop so that you can upload it quickly when you're finished. Since this is now the background layer, and since I've already saved this, I'm going to click and drag this into this little trash can right here. Please make sure to click Delete on this. You don't want to apply it, because if you apply it, it'll delete the background, and we don't want that. So click on Delete, and then click this one. And just to make it simpler, turn this layer off so that all you have showing are these two layers now. Click on the eraser tool and start erasing. One thing you're going to notice about this is that it's erasing this arm and this arm. So this one's actually a little trickier, and I just noticed that this particular example, see those squares? Those squares mean that's been erased from the photo, so we'll have to figure out how to replace that later. I'll show you how to repair files in another demonstration. But since this one is in front of this one, you're going to have to zoom in, and I'm just hitting Command+. Then I'm going to hold the space bar down, move this over. I'm going to make my cursor smaller or my paintbrush smaller, and then I'm going to reverse this by making black in front so that I can bring the hand back here. This is going to require a little bit more detail work than you've done before because you're going to have to get the space in between the fingers. Same thing over here. And this is where you'll really gain an appreciation for this program and this particular application. So I'll talk you through it. I've zoomed in. I'm going to zoom in some more. And this is also where the letter X on the keyboard is going to come in handy, because the letter X on the keyboard switches these two. So if I hit X, now white is in front. I'm going to make the paintbrush smaller, and then I'm going to go in and get all these details so that I can get this really tight. So continue on this one. Make sure to save it as version 2. And this is where the beauty of being able to change from the foreground color to the background color so that you can get the details. This is where keyboard shortcuts really come in handy. And in particular, I'm going to zoom in again by holding the Command key down and hitting the plus. And you can see that you can get really tight in here. Now, I've shown some of you this, but perhaps not all of you. I currently have the eraser tool selected, and I'm erasing from here. But now that I've zoomed in really far, it's going to be really tough to move around. Rather than going over here and moving these, which allows you to readjust the view, I'm going to hold the space bar down, and you'll notice it turns into a hand. Now I can move these around, and what it's moving is it's moving the view. It's not moving the actual image, but it's changing the view. So I need a much smaller paintbrush, or eraser in this case, and I'm just going to go in here and get these details. I'm literally erasing 1 pixel at a time here. And you can kind of see where the difference between the green and the flesh tone is. And then as you go up into where the shirt is behind, you can start seeing the image in the background. So this will be an extra credit assignment, and again I'll show you how to fix this in a couple of minutes. So save this and upload that one to Google Classroom as well as your Google Drive.